Welcome to The Backstory. I'm Robert.
And I'm Melanie.
And today we are joined by filmmaker Randy LaHaye. You might recognize the last name because he's the grandson of the author, Tim LaHaye. And you've got a new movie, Vanished, Left Behind, The Next Generation. Is that correct?
Well said. I know it's a lengthy title.
That's okay,
right.
though. And we'll give you this mic real quick so we can hear you
Thank you.
pretty well. So you have a long history with this story, but I'm curious, what's your story with filmmaking? When did you decide, I'm going to be a filmmaker, and how did that happen?
Sure, that happened in the earnest of 2000 when I made the trek to Los Angeles to begin my entertainment career. Started as a stand-up comedian.
Oh, really?
Every time I say that, everyone's like,
Tell
you
us
got a joke?
Yeah. We won't do that to you.
Thank you. It was many years ago. I have a lot of great jokes that work really well for church groups, but another time. And then I got into acting and did a few spots, commercials, television, but really found my passion in producing, creating content.
Cool.
And I had worked on several movies in the past. My first introduction was to The Passion of the Christ. Got a small opportunity to work on that film.
Oh, cool.
And then what really, so this film is, my movie, you know.
Nice.
And the way it came about was, my grandfather had given the movie rights to the Left Behind book series, actually about 2 years before the books actually exploded and blew up.
Oh, wow.
Which is, a lot of people don't know the backstory. So he really didn't have anything to do with those movies, nor did I. This is the movies starring Kirk Cameron.
Right.
And then even that company recently did one starring Nicolas Cage.
Right, I saw that.
And so my grandfather also had another book series when Left Behind started to become popular because he's always had a heart for kids.
Okay.
Talking about the importance of the next generation.
Cool.
Yeah.
So he and Jerry Jenkins created a book series called Left Behind the Kids,
Huh.
which was the exact same world. My grandfather's interpretation of the Book of Revelation had it happened in our lifetime and the world we're living in.
Yeah.
So it was all the same plot, same big characters, but it followed the lives of these kids. And so I took that book series and said, what if we re-envision this to feel a little bit more modern, to resonate with kids today? Let's use that Twilight, Hunger Games kind of YA genre of telling stories. And so our movie is a fresh, new, young take on the popular Left Behind series. So it stars this very beautiful actress, Amber Frank, from the popular show Haunted Hathaways on Nickelodeon. And basically, she's got two boys, right? They're completely opposite, 16 years old, vying for her affection. It's that classic, coming of age love triangle story. And the rapture just sneaks up on you. Within 5 minutes of the movie, you're trying to get grounded. Who are these characters? What's happening? And I kind of wanted to give homage to the Like a Thief in the Night. It just comes out of nowhere. And then our story's off and running, and our characters are trying to figure out what's happened, what are the rules of this new world. And the audience vicariously through these characters discovers the truth about what's happened. So it's really exciting.
Wow, that's great. So you mentioned that you've got some 16-year-olds on set then that you're working with.
You know
What's that been like? Has there been a learning curve, or how have they
a
adapted?
learning curve for me.
Really?
I look at these kids and they are fabulous actors. And what is so amazing is you get on set with them and you realize they're actually even better kids than they are actors.
Wow.
They're just, every single one of these kids, first of all, they're kids. When they're not when they're not rolling, when the cameras are not rolling, they're back there, doing memes, coming up with Snapchats and just being hysterical and being goofy. But when it comes time to shoot, the level of professionalism that they brought to it was shocking to me. It was unbelievable.
That's great.
Every single one of them had done a month of preparation, writing in a journal as the character, just really absorbing everything they could, taking the script and going way beyond that for their own selves.
Cool.
And
Great.
so it really comes through. Their performances are unbelievable. And they're all working in major, projects. The two boys are stars of MTV's Teen Wolf, and Amber did, her Nickelodeon stuff. So I always look at them and I think, man, if I was that mature and that dedicated, maybe I could have been on my 5th movie now instead of my 1st, you know?
Right.
So they're just awesome kids.
Yeah, and you mentioned that this is your project, so you're acting and directing.
Well,
What's that
okay,
like?
so this is, I have to give a lot of credit where credit is due. The man who really helped make this a reality, his name is Dave Allen Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a longtime veteran in Hollywood, has produced hundreds of $millions of content, started the first show, wrote the first show for Spielberg at DreamWorks.
Wow.
He's a born-again Christian, and I knew that the only way this movie would work is if it was good. It had to have the quality rise above the normal connotation that you get with Christian films.
Yeah.
And so I took it to him, and it was so great. Sitting at a Starbucks on Ventura, and I give him the book. I go, Dave, I want to do the YA version of Left Behind.
Yeah.
Instantly, he was like, I get it. I'm in. I love it.
Nice.
That's
and
excellent.
so Dave really helped me. And so we did this movie from the showrunner model, which basically means the producers control everything. We hire the cast, we hire the writers, we develop the script, we hire the director. The director does his job, but he's not an auteur who says, you know, I'm going to make this my thing and this is my vision and get out of my way.
Right.
So our director, Larry A. McLean, was incredible, executed at a very high level. But so Dave and I, this is our baby, this is our project, and we're going to work as a team together to tell the whole Left Behind story
That's
Great.
awesome.
through a series of films.
Wonderful.
So tell me, what is your favorite part of the process? Is it reading the script for the first time? Is it the last day of filming? Is it the premiere? Like, what is that moment where you can just bask in it?
They're all great, but the without a doubt, the greatest moment is the first day of shooting and when those cameras are rolling.
Nice.
And it's like when Larry rolled, and when he rolled action, I still get emotional today. It's like, you know it's happening, because in Hollywood, it can end at any moment. You could write the script, they could give you millions of dollars, you get the set, and then all of a sudden they're just like, no, we're pulling out, something went south. But once you know, I've even heard stories about when people are actually shooting that they run out of money or it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest moment of it coming to fruition and you seeing it right there. So our first shot was so cool. It was the kids running away from the bad guy, and the cameras, it's a handheld, and they're running with the kids, and there's a cool sun flare coming through the lens.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there watching it on the screen with Larry, and I was just like, wow, that looks so cool. Our
is
kids are
real.
so cool. This is happening.
That's awesome.
Great.
That's
That's
All right, so this is the hardest question. It's always the hardest, the last one.
Okay.
If you could have any person, past or present, have a cameo in one of your films, who would you choose and why?
If we weren't available.
It would either be my grandfather or Mel Gibson.
Nice.
My grandfather, because I just love him so much. He's my inspiration, and first of all, he's the godliest man I've ever met, and the most humble man I've ever met. And he's done more with his life and career than anybody I've ever met. And so he recently passed away.
Right.
And I might not have said Tim, but having him pass away, I mean, when you ask the question, he's the first person that comes to mind. He would have been great as, like, you know, we'll dress him up as one of the two witnesses at the Wailing Wall for 3.5 years, you know?
Yeah.
Or some sort of wise oracle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Mel Gibson, because he's just a force to be reckoned with. You know, the Passion of the Christ changed my life. This is a guy who everybody said no to him. Every studio, every financier, he put his own money into it, and it was the most important movie, I think, in 100 years. So, and it really that movie brought me closer to my grandfather, because I'll tell you a really cool story. There we are with a lot of great influential Christian leaders at Icon Pictures in a boardroom watching a pre-screening. Mel did this a lot with a lot of people. And he was smart too, because he told them, I really want to know what you guys have to say about it, and what do you think?
Right.
I don't think he really cared. He just wanted them to
Get the
go, oh my
process
gosh,
going.
that's amazing. I'm going to stand on my pulpit and tell every single congregant to go see this
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
But so the movie ended with the bloody, mangled body of Christ. Roll credits, end the movie. And the lights went up and people were in tears and people started going around the room and they're all telling Mel what an amazing job he did. And my grandfather stands up and he goes, "It was a great movie, but where's the resurrection?" Mm-hmm. He goes, "There, without the resurrection, it's half a story. Right. It's not a complete story." And so my grandfather wasn't the only one. Many people told Mel this. And so he went back and he filmed a small clip of, the resurrection and the tomb. But that got me thinking, and I had years of conversations with my grandfather about the resurrection and what that means. And that is a story in itself. And so that's my next project. I want to do the resurrection.
Cool.
Probably start as a documentary and then move to a live action film. They recently did one, Risen, which I thought was okay, but it was too much about this character that they made up that no one ever really knows about. Right. It was kind of like that Ben-Hur. We're gonna tell the passion story, but it's really going to be about Ben-Hur, and that's going to be in the background.
Yeah.
So my partner Dave and we want to do the actual resurrection story where it's about the apostles and Jesus and the resurrection and what does that mean. Yeah.
We'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
That was a really long-winded question.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Great story. Great story.
Well, thank you so much for coming this morning, Randy. Make sure you check out Vanished, The Left Behind, The Next Generation.
Can we give them a plug?
Absolutely.
So
please do.
The website is thevanishedfilm.com, thevanishedfilm.com. And you can go there and you can learn about our release on September 28th. It's going to be in theaters across the country, and it's going to be followed by a live streamed event from Los Angeles featuring our cast and our crew and talking about the movie. So please go to the website and find a local theater and buy your tickets and bring friends that don't normally attend church. You won't regret it.
And watch Randy on Hour of Power.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.